There are several patriots squirreled away within our bureaucracy. One of them leaked a memo that was issued over at the Environmental Protection Agency to our friend Michelle Malkin, a tipster, if you will. And these are some of the plans they have for feeding the lib media information to be used against you, the American people, in the self-serving bureaucratic way to show you the dire consequences if the government shut down. Now, let me just say this. I touched on it earlier in the first hour. Just treat this shutdown, should it occur, as a long federal holiday. And if the consequences are dire, then I think we should get rid of federal holidays for bureaucrats. What do you think of that, Mr. Producer? If we can't live without government ever, if we have to have government, then why do we have federal holidays for bureaucrats? So I say it's one or the other. Either we let them enjoy 30 days off without pay, like so many of you in the private sector, or no more federal holidays for federal bureaucrats because, well, the nation's too important. But isn't it amazing? This horrific recession has hurt so many people in the private sector. But God forbid if we shut the damn government down for 24 hours. Can you imagine? Oh, our rulers and their bureaucrats. It'll be the end of us, you and me. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Anyway, back to Michelle Malkin, this little memo that was sent to her. Let's see, over at the EPA, hey, PADS, P-A-D-S. I don't know what a PAD is. Is that like an alien or something? It's obviously an acronym for some bureaucrat position, you know, like pathetic assistant director. Listen to this. They have their directions. Please start pulling together a quick, bulleted list of what region, state-specific activities that would cease if there were a shutdown. 5 to 6 bulleted points will be ideal. These bullets should focus on public health impacts, economic impacts, including permitting that will keep businesses from operating, and enforcement. This is in the memo the bureaucrats are putting together to give to the media. Since we hope to use this list to respond to questions from your local press, it would make sense to choose locations and issues that are widely known by the general public in your respective areas. So what have our bureaucrats been doing? Our loyal, hard-working bureaucrats, some of them, not all of them, what have they been doing in the days running up to the shutdown this Friday? Well, very busy putting bullet points together to justify their existence. On your dime. Neat work if you can get it. We've selected a few examples below of what we've worked on here at headquarters. Please send your completed list by 3 p.m. Eastern, that's in 2 hours, to Alicia. Please call me or Alicia if you have any questions. Thanks, Adora. Adora? Alicia? Draft examples. Health protection, water, air, land, research, federal inspections at hazardous waste facilities. That will stop. Federally funded activities preparing for cleanup of some of the nation's worst hazardous waste sites. Finalization of a health assessment for chromium-6, whatever the hell that is. All federal efforts that protect children from lead paint poisoning. Stop. Air quality forecasting across the country, including updates to major daily print and TV weather report. You know what else will stop? All those coffee breaks. Oh, yes. Misuse of your computers and email and all those long-distance calls that we, the taxpayers, are paying for. You know what else will stop? All those government cars that the EPA uses. But don't worry, I'm sure they're hybrids. Maybe even better. Maybe they run on goose crap. I don't know. Let's see what else will happen at the EPA if it shuts down. New grants to help fund economic redevelopment and clean up of brownfields. Permitting for companies that need EPA approvals before they can manufacture and market their product. So in other words, they're blackmailing us. You either give us what we want or we're going to stop business. We're going to kill jobs. That's your government. Yes, there are 2 Americas. The pervert, what's his name? John Edwards, who's threatening to kill himself, by the way, which isn't so funny, apparently in one report, if he goes to jail. But that's another issue. Let's see, what else? Enforcement permitting over there at the EPA, that'll come to an end. All criminal investigations except those needed to prevent an imminent threat to human life or government property. The agency's environmental crimes hotline would also cease operation. Oh, they're going to pull the plug on the phone. I don't know about you, but I'm wetting myself out of concern that the EPA may shut down for a few days. May I ask a question? During those 9 federal holidays, are they working on lead paint for children? Are they working on chromium-6? Are they working on our hazardous waste sites, the worst ones in America? How about air quality forecasting? During those federal holidays, are they doing all that work? Are the permitting for companies that need EPA approval so they can manufacture, market their products? Are they doing that on those federal holidays? I don't think so. So far, I'm scared to death, aren't you? Oh, my God, what will we do if the EPA is shut down for 10, 20, 30 days? Well, I know what I'll do. Maybe I'll build a little pond in my backyard, since all their little permitting bureaucrats will be out of work, at least temporarily. Maybe I'll use whatever the hell insulation I want to use in my house while they're not working. That's right. Maybe I'll change my light bulbs. Yes, and make sure I get the light bulbs that I want before, the EPA guy gets back to work. Maybe I'll change the toilet, too. I'll change that out, too. I mean, after all, who's going to bother me since the government shut down? Maybe we'll get a little bit more of our liberty back. Just a little more. Maybe I'll drive my car any damn way I want. I don't mean breaking local driving laws. I mean take some of those environmental protection devices off the car. Who's going to stop me? I mean, the government's shut down. All kinds of cool things can happen. Maybe a little bit more liberty. Have you ever thought of it that way? Well, I think of it that way all the time. If you want a smaller, limited government, then we get a smaller, limited government. And it's involved in so many things that I don't want it involved in. So these aren't really threats to me. These are promises. Do you bastards promise not to show up at work? To unplug your phones? To shut off your computers? Because if you do, I could get used to this in a big way. Now, I know people who suckle at the government, you know what? They'll be affected. Sorry, I don't want to destroy my country, and it's going to be destroyed, so maybe you should suckle a little less. Or not at all. Oh, did Mark just say that? Yes, I did. So shut it down, especially the EPA. Shut down the Internal Revenue Service. That I'd like to see, too. Shut down the Agriculture Department and all that ethanol crap. Am I offending? What do all these people do at the Department of Education? They don't educate anybody. They have students in that building? What do all these people do at the Department of Energy? Do they create energy? No, not a drop of oil. Bye. Long new federal holiday. We call it a shutdown. Too damn bad. Look around you in the real world, in the private sector. All the people who've gotten pink slips. All the people who are told not to show up every other Friday. All the people who've had their salaries cut. Look at what you're doing to them. Look how you torment them. Well, now it's your turn. And I'm sorry I don't feel your pain. I really don't. Except when you're working. Then we feel your pain all the time. In the neck. About half of the EPA's budget is used to give out grants. Did you know that? I didn't know that until Landmark Legal Foundation, the foundation that I'm head of, did a massive FOIA request years ago, and we got a list of all their grant-making organizations. Billions of dollars in grants to left-wing environmental groups, to other groups. So that's about half their budget. And any organization that spends an enormous amount of money, I'm going to assume that some percentage of it does good things. But that's really not the point. That doesn't justify the enormous power and growth and resources that are poured into these entities. Because they do a hell of a lot of bad things, which are rarely discussed unless I raise them.